What do you want? Imagine if you were asked that question. You could get anything you want. What would you ask for? What do you want? An extraordinary question to ask. And I think your answer would reveal the depths of your heart. What do you want? I was in Stocklands the other day buying my groceries. Yes, I buy my own groceries and cook my own food. And I was walking out of Woolies, you know, with your 15-cent bags either side, and there was a young mum there. She had a trolley and bags were in it, and there was a toddler, 2-3-year-old, sitting in the trolley, screaming. And as I came past, she put her hands on her hips and she looked at the kid and she said, "What do you want?" And I all of a sudden stopped, and it was like I had a bolt of lightning from heaven. Because every Monday, I take into my prayer the scripture readings for the week, and especially of Sunday. And as I was reflecting during the week, I allowed God to speak to me. And as I stood there and I heard the mum say, "What do you want?" I realised that's the first reading. When God appeared in the dream of Solomon and said, "Ask me, and I will give you whatever you want." Anyway, I was standing there probably about 1.5 metres, social distancing from the mum, and she turned around and looked at me and she said, "Can I help you?" And I was staring at her. You know how you do that unthinkingly. And I said, "May I say something to you?" And she said, "Oh, here it comes." I said, "I just want to say, I think you're a great mum. I think you're doing a terrific job. I think you're just fantastic." And she said, "Why do you say that?" And I said to her, one of the primary jobs of every parent is to help articulate in their child, what do they want? This child was screaming and didn't know how to communicate. And the mum was saying, "Tell me, what do you want?" That's the job of every parent, is to help their child articulate their need. And I said this to her. And she looked at me and she just said, "Weirdo," and then took off. And I thought, that's okay, I don't mind that. But the thing is, that's what God asks of us. Ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door will be open. God said to Solomon in today's first reading, in the dream, "What do you want? Ask and I will give you whatever you want." And Solomon says, "I want to have a heart full of wisdom." And God says, "I will grant you that because you didn't ask for riches, you didn't ask for a long life, and you didn't ask for power." You see, my friends, that's the purpose of prayer, asking. And then what we receive is not so much riches and power, because they'll always corrupt us, but to ask for something that glorifies the name of God even further. Give me wisdom so I can discern, so you, God, may be glorified further. And it's interesting, God asks questions all the time. What's the first question God asks in the Bible? Adam and Eve had just eaten the fruit. They're feeling a bit guilty and they're off hiding. And God comes. The first question God asks of humanity, "Where are you?" God asks a question. And this question is part of the rabbinic tradition. Even so that Jesus knows that Jewish people ask questions so you can get a question back. And then they ask another question and you get a question back. They don't ask for answers. Extraordinarily, my friends, our Western world, I think, looks through the Bible for answers, when in fact there's a whole lot of questions. What's the question you'd ask back to God? So much so that I went and did some research about the theology of questions. Jesus asks in the New Testament 297 questions. And the most common question, Bartimaeus, the blind man, what do you want from me? Jairus' mother, Jesus says, what do you want for your daughter? The 10 lepers, what do you want me to do for you? Zacchaeus, what do you wish? He asks the question constantly to humanity. But what's the first question Jesus asks in the Bible? And it's this. Joseph and Mary had lost him, and he was 12 years of age. And they went in search of him. And they said, don't you know we were worried about you? And what's he asked? Why are you looking for me? Wouldn't it be a better child to say, oh, sorry, Mum and Dad, this is my excuse? But Jesus asks a question back. This questioning is very much a part of the whole biblical tradition. God asks, we ask a question back. We search for the answers through questioning. Our Western minds don't like that. But if you listen as you read the Bible, the question is important. So, my friends, is there a question in today's gospel? Yes. Most priests today will probably preach about the pearl of great wisdom, or the treasure hidden in the field, or the dragnet of the fish that come in. And after Jesus has said those three analogies of the kingdom, he says, do you understand this? And they say yes. Isn't that the second most important question a parent can ask a child? Do you understand? What do you want and do you understand are the two basic questions that help us grow to maturity in life, but also in faith. Jesus says, do you understand? And rather than give us an answer, he gives us another analogy. So he says, do you understand? They say, yes. Then he says, well, every disciple of the kingdom is like a household who brings out the treasure, both new and old. You know, thanks, Jesus. We thought we would have gotten something better. But he gives us the question so we might ponder it, so we might ask something back. So, my friends, when God asks, what do you want? In your prayer, our scriptures gives us the answer to that. You know what the answer is? Lord, what do you think I need? That's the answer to prayer. Lord, give me what you think I need. Not wealth, long life, power, but a wisdom, courage, understanding, reverence, knowledge, awe and wonder, peace, joy, love, hope, faith. Give us this in our heart. What do you want?